quiet place.
Person at the same time. Sorry about that.
Been waiting on you, doctor. Me and Bradshaw there a long time.
Yep.
The recording start.
Yeah, yo, man. Ah.
Ladies and germs, boys and girls, welcome back to another episode of Controversial Topics. Let me turn off my TV.
The man start with violence, the doctor. You know hear the intro all now. But continue, sir. Right here.
I said ladies and gents, boys and girls. I didn't say the technical
I never
arrangement.
that you say. I never that you say. I never that you say. But keep going. I hear you. Germs here to your mouth. Ladies and germs. Germs, yes, sir, Rasta. But go on. You hear gentlemen.
Germs.
You hear gentlemen. All right, go on.
Okay.
Just say.
I'm not going to apologize. I will just add gents. I'm not going to apologize. I will just add the word gents. Good night. Good evening.
Go on a road.
So what time you're watching this podcast?
Yes.
Yeah. So on panel we have Andre Bradshaw, the Blacktivist. I believe his partner in crime is next to him.
Yes.
Lady
Life partner in crime. Yes.
Lady Lynn. We have Xavier Doctor. And, Dario, the supposedly innocent one, myself. And Bradshaw's daughter.
Yes.
So, what's the topic for tonight? People learning their role or their gender-specific role.
I would go with that one, but as it relates to role, I believe as time has changed and things have changed somewhat, a lot of things are now flexible to an extent, and some I believe aren't flexible. Like for example,
some things are black and white.
yeah. And I don't believe you should use that as an excuse to not do what is a part of, their responsibilities. There's something that I don't get, right? I want to ask a question. Go ahead. As it relates to roles, right?
Yeah.
As a man, my entire life, from I was a child till maturity, right? I've always been told by my father, my father, that it's a man's job to protect and provide. Yeah, it's a man's job to also preach, guide, and hold the standard in the household. I don't believe, and I'll say this, and I know it might seem controversial. I don't believe a woman can do a man's job. She can't do it. If she can, she can't do it properly. Just as much as a man cannot do a woman's job properly. A man can't teach a woman how to be a woman, just as much as a woman can't teach a man how to be a man. But this new age wave of saying anything you can do, I can do better. I can do anything better than you. No, you can't, and I mean that. There's yes, you can. No, you cannot, and this needs to be squashed out in society. No, you cannot. I've never met a man who says, you know what? I can model like what's her name? Like Naomi Campbell. Better than Naomi Campbell. I mean, that's a no-brainer, but this day and age, people are pushing this narrative. Like a man can be the best. You know, you can't say that. You know, we can't say certain words. I mean, we can, but you know, we're trying not to be those people. You feel me? But
Yeah.
yeah,
I have a response when you finish.
yeah. But I mean, it's kind. I mean, it's it's causing a lot of mixed signals, especially to the younger ones among us, the younger boys, younger girls, that you're being told that you can do a man's job better than a man. You can do a woman's job better than a woman. Society is the one that is at fault. People are supposed to accept you for trying to be something that you were not raised to be. And again, I'm not saying a man can't be feminine. I'm not saying a woman can't be masculine. I don't, you come to me and tell me set me wrong. Like there was this Facebook video I watched where a trans man, that's a woman who transitioned to a man, said she now started to see what quote unquote cis men, aka men, just men in general, what they're talking about when they said like there's a level of aloneness and coldness and isolation to being a man that she has always heard about, but she never gave it a thought until she transitioned. And in the comments, the women were trying to quote unquote justify what she was saying, and then a few men started to take offense. Like, so hold on, so we're like telling you that you know there is no safe space for a man to be a man. You know, society doesn't give men the same liberties and freedoms to express ourselves without being chastised or be called misogynistic or being called a woman hater, etc., etc., etc. It's heartbreaking. And then so the women, instead of saying, "Well, we're sorry," instead they went on the attack by saying, "Oh, you've had all these privileges and you've had all these," and the men pushed back and said, "What privilege? What privilege exactly do men have that women don't have? Huh? There's no programs in universities to help any of us. There's no male victim shelters as widely accessible as they are for women. Men get assaulted more than women. Men get murdered more than women. And I mean, it was a shit show. You know, it really hurt. You can't. I'm saying you can't be a man unless you were born one. You can't be a woman unless you were born one. I know people might have their own views on that, but let's be real here. Um, we have a Jamaican swimmer. What's her name again? What's her name
Oh yeah,
again? She went
Atkinson.
to the Olympics. Yeah, she's now on the
Drone and Night Wisdom.
woman
For the female swimmer, I don't
invaded.
know her.
Woman, oh yes, the Woman of the Year award for this year, 2022, is being given to a trans woman. The guy who is almost as great as as Michael Phelps, that has sparked outrage in the swimming meets, in the swimming competition across the board now. That now they're being forced to push them into their own category. You understand me? So again, I repeat, I'm looking at this quote unquote woman, and I'm like, look at those shoulders. That is the most masculine woman I've ever seen in my entire life. I digress. You understand me? This way of thinking is doing more harm than helping people. And social media is not making it any better. Almost every other advertisement is trying to force some people out. You have to accept this. You have to accept this. You have to accept this. And then you're being the one called a bigot. You're the one called being XYZ. You're the one being called misogynistic. You're the one being. And I'm like, show me the stats that say women are more happier now with the current way things are going. Show me the stats that men are remotely happier with how society is going. 97% of society is against what's being pushed. But 97% of society is quite quiet. With the blessed the few who do speak up. But when the voice of one or two is shut down, when nobody else is there to defend the argument, I'm confused. I'm just saying. You're saying, Dario?
Yeah. You kind of encapsulate a whole bunch of stuff.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
The initial question. I don't even remember the wording for the initial question.
I went in too hard.
Nope, you went in just right.
That's what she said.
Indeed.
I'm not even going to touch that.
Good man. Good man.
Yeah, I think it stems from one set of people or one side of the aisle kind of abusing their privilege or whatever privilege or power that they had. And instead of trying to correct, they went to the other extreme. The other side just went to the other extreme and started abusing privileges in different ways. All right, so what was the main question at first again? Oh yeah, so
about the roles, something about
so gender roles, yeah.
I
mean, I don't know if I said this on the podcast before, but I said it in the group. A woman's role is not to compete with a man, but it is to complement a man.
I wouldn't just say also complete a man. This mindset that and I believe some men don't quite understand what that means. To compliment a man.
Yeah,
you understand me?
I would say, as you said before, a woman is not supposed to do what a man can do, but what he can't.
Exactly.
It's supposed to be a partnership. To use a Bible verse, a kingdom divided against itself or crumble.
Yeah.
If we have to work together as people, whether it be in relationships, in friendships, or just as human beings, but we're too busy competing with each other and at each other's throats. I mean, what do you think is going to happen to society?
We'll go nowhere.
No,
it'll be stagnant.
That's just the beginning.
Yeah.
That's only the beginning. After a while, as this Bible verse says, it is going to crumble.
Yes.
Let's take relationships out of it for a second and put it into a form of business. If we are running a business and we're literally at each other's throats, as opposed to working together to build the business, the business is going to fall.
Yes.
There's no question about that. And I see that's the issue with society now, and that's why everyone can find a way to complain and point out issues. But
no solution.
There are no solutions because one side is complaining about what the other side is doing, but not what
the other side is complaining what the other side is doing.
But they're not finding a middle ground. They're not coming together. They're not. What's the word I'm looking for? They're not cooperating, but competing. And all it does is cause more and more divide and more problems. wanted to go as far as to say that that's the same thing with politics, and that's why Jamaica so corrupt and US and so forth. But I'm not gonna go down that road. I don't see how you have two separate political parties who have the best interests at heart, yet still they're fighting again. Yeah, but I digress.
Mm-hmm.
Scott, you chiming in?
Uh, I'm driving. Well, you're talking to. Oh, okay.
Wait, what?
No, I said I'm driving, but yeah, I'm hearing you.
Yeah, and I don't want to go down the trans road either about men who think they can. I mean, with regards to what you said about the safe space for men and the things that
Mm-hmm.
men complain about, never forget
Mm-hmm.
Anna, the Asian chick, Anna Akana. I don't remember what her name. When she came out as
Mm-hmm.
bisexual and started dating women, and she was complaining about issues that she had while dating women. And then she realized she sounded like all of her male friends when they were complaining about women and how she used to defend them. I remember how she
Yes.
used to defend them
Mm-hmm.
and like bash her male friend, not bash her, but make
Mm-hmm.
excuses. But then
Mm-hmm.
she's like, wow, so this is what they dealt with. This is what they actually went through,
Mm-hmm.
and this is how women actually are. I've even seen a couple comedians with that. Where this one comedian she went out on her first date when she came out as a lesbian as an adult, and
Mm-hmm.
they both went out to dinner, had a good time talking and everything, and as soon as the check came, they both went quiet
Yep.
because there wasn't a man on the date, and neither one of them was
Yep.
masculine. They didn't know who was gonna pay the bill. And I mean, in the set, she was joking, say, "Oh well, her boobs are bigger. She's cute." I mean, they're both cute. They both spend time putting on makeup. So the usual
Mm-hmm.
excuses that, "Oh, I spent all this time getting ready just for you," blah blah blah. That didn't work.
Yeah. No, it did
I
not.
mean, for the sake of the punchline, she was like, "Well, my boobs are bigger, so I'm more feminine. So you pay."
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I'm
Yep.
assuming that was just for the
I,
sake of the joke.
I get that much, but I mean, this is real though. There's a lot of women who don't understand that they've been conditioned a certain way that they don't even know that the things that they've been taking for granted are really a privilege. And for every man out there that is shaming men for not wanting to pay for the date anymore, y'all need to grow the F up. And I'm not going to hold back on that.
Hey, hold
Black
on. Did you see the video of the woman who wanted her boyfriend to pay for her 18 friends?
I heard that was also a skit.
It was what?
It was a skit, just like the baby daddy and food and this and that and oh he's not a real man, blah blah chicks. But I heard that was also a skit, but you know,
Wait, they were actually fake because
yeah, both of them.
the
Yeah,
woman threw away the McDonald's meal because he brought it for his son and not all her other kids.
yeah, it was a skit. But the thing is, the reason why it was even brought up, no, because they viewed her channel, they viewed her page, and realized that she's a content creator and it's like stuff like that being ratchet and them there because remember no, there is an audience base of people who think this way.
Yep.
You understand? So she was appeasing to her ratchet audience. But then when that one went viral, it's in the heat of the whole women who believes that a man must do this and a man must do that. Like for example, when buy, I buy for my wife, for my daughter, and you know, it don't faze me. You know, some man would want to have find part of the money. You understand me? And even though my wife does pay for me, I mean, and I'm not saying, oh, I have to do it. I have to do it. No, I want to do it. Weird, right? I actually want to do it. Someone feel valid. You understand me? Society has taken even that away from men, and it kind of hurts. And then
I wouldn't
have
say
a lot
from
of
men.
people.
I would say from people. Because I
Oh,
watch.
oh,
All right, this was another skit that I watched. Jeremy Holloway. So in the skit, he was arguing with his girlfriend, and she was
uh-huh.
basically saying, "What about all the things that she does, and why is it that she's not? Why he hasn't proposed, etc., etc." So he's like, "Yo, the things that I do for you are also husband material things, and you're not my
Yes,
wife. In addition to that,
yes.
I'm not doing these things to try and cause you to say yes if and when I
Mm-hmm.
propose. That's not because this marriage is not my goal. I'm doing these things because that's who I am. I'm actually a decent
Yep,
person, a decent partner to be with. You are
yep.
just doing these things just to get a ring on your finger. And if that is your real goal, then are you actually a wife or are you just a pretender? And do
And
you
and I
actually
won't
deserve
lie.
the ring?
Mm-hmm. And I believe, and like, I mean, you posted a video of a feminist on the Daily Show where she
Yeah.
came on Trevor Noah's show and she was talking about feminism and things of that. And I mean, I understand where she's coming from. You understand me?
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to use.
Yeah. Yeah. Bradshaw? Hello?
So why did you not stop on being? No, because I was already here. You gotta pay yourself for being over that. You know this.
Hello?
I'm here. What, Bradshaw gone?
Look so.
Where were we? Not you, Taylor.
You should have
Larry.
paused it. You should have muted. Yeah, we were talking about, he was gonna say something about the interview with the feminist lady from the Daily Show, Chinamanda.
Me what happens here? If we can say you come to eat a very good and plate over there, so. Yeah, you're there, sir.
Yeah, we can hear you argue.
Yeah, my apologies about that. Anyways, if I can turn on my camera to show my ugly face now.
So, with regards, he was gonna make mention of the interview I posted with the feminist lady, Chinamanda.
Uh-huh.
I believe that's her name pronunciation. But like,
What
what's your
exactly?
take on the video?
What exactly? Hold on. That are the one with Trevor Noah, no sir?
Right, right, right.
Honestly, I mean, like Bradshaw said, she made some half decent points. I don't know if it's because I have a distaste for anything Trevor Noah interviews, but is it just me, or does the constant what's the word I'm looking for here? Pity. It's like if you put anybody else in that scenario, would he be even like doing what he's doing? I don't know if it's just me, but I just notice people's facial features, the way them start to breathe anytime they start to talk to a specific group of people. You know, some people just start to just mellow out as soon as them start to talk to a bunch of gays,
Mm-hmm.
and then as soon as it comes to straight people complaining about being called misogynistic, yesterday the vile nature, and it's like I get what she's trying to say, And believe it or not, people, yes, some women are oppressed, or whatever the hell that is these days. But how many of them continue riding that high horse when they're living their best lives? Better yet, let's look at us, take a statistic in Jamaica, right? Which woman in Jamaica can rightfully say they're oppressed in this country? Oppressed by what exactly? Because as I'm concerned, I Bradshaw,
Oh, go on. Yo, what happened?
please don't get angry at your phone again. Please.
I highlight though. With the further in the bush, we are combat civilization. Behave itself.
Hold on, so
No,
so the signal drop or what?
I assume. I assume that guys. I mean, I was just getting into my explanation and this backside sitting drop. Anywho, I was feeling myself here, God. But anyways,
Yes.
so now it's still there.
Chimamanda Adichie. Hello.
Yeah.
We were talking about the video with Chimamanda Adichie.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So sorry, but so yeah. Like I said, I agree with her on some points, and I honestly believe that this misconception about marriage has to be addressed. Like for instance, I don't believe you can truly be a husband or a wife if you do not have the correct guidance. No,
You haven't forgot it.
I don't.
You haven't forgot in depth on that, Bradshaw, as in like the step by
All
step
right.
guidance in
Yeah.
terms. All right. Better your view of what the guidance should be.
All right. I believe the guidance should be predicated on the whole teaching that a man's worth is more than his penis for one. His energy, etc. A man's innate value is more than what is in his wallet as well. A man's presence in the household has intricate value, especially when it comes to man and woman dynamic. You understand me? Just as much as a man can be a single father, a woman can be a single mother, God has made both genders, man and woman, with small traces of both hormones. That's why a woman, if the husband dies, she can step up to the plate for a certain amount of time because she has testosterone in her body as well. Same thing applies for the man. For those of you who did not, understand biology. Yes, men also do produce this estrogen. We also do it. That's why a father can sympathize and he can,
Be nurturing.
empathize. Yes, when it comes to a daughter. But understand this: we are not the same. It bothers me when certain feminist women try to only point out the fact, say, oh, um, a man's worth, a man should be quick to point out that he's a husband, he's a this, he's a that. And I'm like, okay, fine. Some men actually revel in identifying and being a husband. Some men, them ring can't come off of them finger. You understand me? And there's nothing wrong with that. You understand me? I don't wear my ring, but every time I talk, I mention my wife. First off, I don't even think I need to sugarcoat things. If a woman hits on me as big as I am, I know how to talk, which means me can get woman. And when women are flirting with me, I come home and I tell my wife, said this girl and that woman they and so flirt with me today, Boy, I just let them know some I'm a married man and why she never care. She still a push. I just, you know what? Let me just excuse myself. And I no reason for lie to my wife. I won't lie. To say I don't lie to my wife, that's a lie. But I don't. Again, let me
Yeah, but
explain.
like, drinking your wife's soda versus talking to
You
some chick
understand?
is two different things.
See there,
Just
that's the difference.
you know,
My,
you could have said any other beverage, but just because you have a hissy fit for Bradshaw drinking soda, you just had to go there, didn't you? Wow, you are petty as hell.
but he hit the nail on the head, and that's what I'm talking about. Like the major stuff. I don't know he's for like, but like Andre, did you take out the garbage yet? Yeah, man. No, very well. I'm gonna take it out yet. And then I jump up and go, scramble and go dry it outside and. Oh, so what were you doing outside? Well, I saw a raccoon, and I'm like, wow,
Yo,
petty lies.
such
I
an
do that. I'm not pretending I'm perfect.
excuse. Yo, Bradshaw
Yeah,
grew
I'm
right.
just saying. I'm just saying. You feel me? But like I said, the major stuff, I don't think I need to lie to her. For what? This is my life partner. You understand me? And this is, and I don't believe just as much as I'm saying, oh, I just want to be married. No. And this is something that society has purposely left out. Marriage is not for the weak. Marriage is work. I think I've said this on this podcast plenty of time.
Yep.
Marriage is not for the faint of heart. Marriage is not for the childish. Marriage is not for the immature. Marriage is not for children. So there's a lot of grown man child and grown big woman girl. And I'm only 34. And maybe you have more like me at 54. You understand me? I'm quite proud of myself. You understand me? You know, say there's a lot of men out there who still a sack them pants. And I behave like they're 22 years old. You understand, man, pants are jump off him body. And I'm like, but that man is like 47 years old. That man in them 50s. What the hell? And then
No,
you still
what's really weird is when like the dudes be like 50 something and
mm-hmm.
their belly is like twice the size of the rest of their body, and they're
Oh my
still
god.
sagging their pants and wearing skinny jeans and a tight white t-shirt
And if you
around the
Yo.
big ass belly.
no, you want to know the worst part about that? If
Mm.
make you go try to tell them about the exercise program, you probably get a couple bad
Yeah,
suck.
disrespect.
No, just tell them for fixing pants.
Oh yeah, man. Why that?
And he's
Instant
all
one.
blinged out in all fake jewelry.
Oh my god. Well, I know. So we look on somebody one day and tell them, say, yo, take it for what it is. I'm gonna know that this might sound whatever. I would say prejudice, but I really don't care. If my daughter, and I've said this before, if my daughter bring any man to me, I mean, fine, I'll meet the young man. But yes, if him pants a drop off him body, oh my God, instant no, no. I don't care. He could have 1,000,000 degrees. First impression last. Are you serious?
Me
And I
can't,
know some people
I can't fight Bradshaw upon that one because knowing me as a father,
oh,
me can't fight Bradshaw upon that
just
one.
turn off that rasta. I'm not feeling away. For my son, there's going to be also rules. So yeah, meet me for the first time. I shouldn't see a booty cheek. I shouldn't see too much of your breast. Come on, man. You're meeting the man's parents. Women and men. Come on, man. Have some standards. And then hold on there. All right, let me give you an example. You know the rapper, the baby,
Yeah.
Yeah,
the baby, right? One of the most lyrically inclined dudes I've ever heard for a rapper, believe it or not. But understand this. One time he was, yeah, Disney World. What we are driving past it? Yeah, good for them. Oh, Disney. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I wouldn't even start about Disney right now. Disney, a different thing, right? Don't get my brinkle. But anyways, the baby, right? He was in an
Yeah.
interview and the baby said this out of one mouth. The man said, if my daughter was to bring a guy like me to meet me, I would knock his ass out. Did you hear me? The
Yo,
baby said that mouth.
I'm not going. Yo,
If
I'm
him
not going.
daughter bring a
Is that
man
like a
like him,
paradox or an
No, no.
oxymoron or
I
like a
know, right?
coincidence or?
I said the same thing. I'm like, but even him, even
Well,
the man who, go on.
not even so much that it's a paradox or the hypocrisy, but you see, it goes to show that yes, every man that breeds O2 on this earth does indeed want the man that is going to take away his daughter to do, whatever they need to do. Needs to be some form of, needs to at least look the part.
Respectable.
You see me?
Respectable.
So
Even the baby, a multi-millionaire, a platinum rapper. You understand me? How much platinum records? Him say if him daughter bring a man like him, which means a millionaire, playboy, whore. If him bring that come in front time, he might knock him out. So even him don't like him. If people don't understand what much, him not like the image of what he is. He's disgusted with what he is. And him would not want that he want flesh and blood. You understand me, people?
And the worst part is, it's understandable. It come from an ignorant place, a hypocritical place, yes. But it is understandable. Because why would you want the worst for your child?
Exactly. And it goes both ways. There's no way in hell. Me as a father go stand by and watch my son. There with a girl where clearly don't see him the same way as he sees her. You know? She come film the longest fingernails them. She never come in at the house. We say, hello, Mr. Bradshaw. How are you? Hello, Mrs. Bradshaw. Lovely evening. Nothing. She staying in the car, call him phone and him run go. They ever see mad. That means saying I respect the man parents. I mean, even if you just come out of the car and stand by the car and say, knock on the door. Good evening. They never step in the door.
It's this indoctrination where society has now made it where, if the parents don't like you, that's just a given. Look, I'm going to explain something.
That's a problem. That's a huge problem.
Hold on, Racha. Like, parents don't like you doesn't mean that it's the end of the world or the end of the relationship. Yes, there are going to be some problems. Cool. But there is such a thing as communication, and I think that is where a lot of these things fall apart. Because a lot of these parents who have problems with whoever the spouse is, they don't even communicate it in a way where you can reason with them. It's just complete toxic behavior. Talk about how she's a bitch, blah, 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 blah. You can't get nothing from her. The whole 9 yards, and then the end factor is always money. Money, money, money. What can he provide? Good God. The youth even come out of college yet and talk about what he can provide. What?
Hold on, no? Doctor, that also stems from a part verse in the Bible, where the Bible are completely say, what? You can't. Well, remember, you can't plant apple and expect, pine. You can't plant lemon and expect cherry. People need to understand this. These behaviors, these reactions are taught. It's not natural for a girl just believes that a man should be a wallet. It's not natural. And just a man doesn't think a woman is just only a sex doll, or a bad bitch, quote unquote. That is not healthy. Nothing about that don't make sense. Why would you want to be suffered to a person where them can't take reasoning? Everything is anger, everything is anguish, everything is violence. Me, I can't have a discussion without turning to a shouting match. That's why most men are dying at a young age. It's not by choice. You understand me? It's not by choice. But when no man say I'm willing to go to jail before him willing to go to jail before him deal with a woman who don't look upon him the same way. I'm like, wow. Bit extreme, but I understand where he's coming from though. You understand me? I wouldn't want that for my flesh and blood.
Even then on still, but props to him still.
Yeah. I'm gonna say a bit extreme, but I understand where it was coming from. You understand me? This notion say this is who I am, accept me as I am. No, I
Absolutely,
don't.
absolutely not.
No, absolutely
Absolutely not.
not, and I agree. Hell no. I don't care what you tell yourself. If you're going to deal with me, you have to learn me. You have to learn me.
Learning,
You have to
learning
invest.
you, learning you, and
Of course.
accepting your toxic and bad behavior is two separate things.
Agreed.
Separate things. All right.
There's
Let
a
me
st-
use myself as an example. There's no way I
mm,
can have about a 2 ton belly in front of me. I mean, I talk about say, yo, any woman don't upset me for me, then can go on. No, brother, that not sound right to
no,
myself.
no, let's go
And
further.
she
Let's go
has to
further.
be slim like a model.
There you go. I was waiting for that one. That was what I was trying to get that down. Yeah, man. She have to have a flat tummy, a fat ass, and my ass is on my stomach. Hell no. My abs
Yo,
up on my back. Hell
Bradshaw,
no.
Bradshaw, yo, viewers, I can tell you this, and probably Derek can even give some light to this. I went to
Uh-huh.
CC Foster College, and some of the most startling things I have heard from male and female alike. I'm just like, yo, which planet do you live on? Because it can't be Mother Earth. Because some of the
Yep.
things you say that women and men must accept you for is complete, yo, not even in the alternate universe that I think exists. I think they might accept that.
The issue is
It,
one of the issues is when if they find enough people who have low self-esteem that accept bullshit, they become accustomed to it and think that this is now the norm.
oh,
So
okay.
everybody must have the same low level of self-esteem and just
No.
accept them.
Nope. No. I remember I was at work one day and I told the ladies them there that I know my worth and everybody was looking at me funny. Because I'm like, wait a minute. And the first thing hear a man say that, them say, well, yeah, because most of the man them are so soft and I was like, what? I said, all right, let me be the first. I'm gonna repeat myself. Let me be the first to say this. I know my worth. Let me nobody fool you. I know of my value. You must out your mind. Which one can talk to me? Any and anyway. You know what the woman them look at me and say? I sound like I'm a misogynist. I was like,
Ah,
wow.
I knew
Are
that
you
was
No,
serious right now?
none of that.
Just
Disrespect
because
means
I
somebody will
said
start
I know
disrespecting.
my worth? I couldn't believe it. I really couldn't believe it come out of the beat. And these women are in them late 40s, 50s, and 60s. And the lady them say I sound like a misogynist. They never
no.
directly use the
Hold
word,
on.
well,
Philip,
Anna, them
Philip,
never directly use the word misogynist, but that's exactly what them describe. And I'm like, wow. Just kind of know the word. But no, that's exactly what it sound like you think I'm like, wow, this is sad. This is really, really sad. I can't believe you're saying this to me. So we are trying to tell me, say, so your son goes to a college, becomes the best version of himself, goes changes up his whole persona. You know, his energy is he's more mature, he's self-conscious, he's confident, you know, he's a debonair. All of them good traits there. And that somehow is a bad thing that he says out of his mouth that I know my worth.
That's
I
the
won't
thing. They
settle
they
for
don't want
less.
that for their sons.
Are you? And these women love them. And I'm like, well, on there. Of course, you know me. Anywho, yo, but anyways, the point is,
signal gone again.
We're gone again. So
kind of reaffirming, they will not look at them the same way because, I mean, my mom is my mom. God rest her soul. But she knew in herself that one day I would have to leave the nest. They do not want, if them leave the nest, the mother wants, she can get her side. Oh, yeah, they want them to be close to the nest so that she can still monitor him. She can still advise him. She can tell him that she don't like that. And I remember I had a young man that I was dropping off at work, and I was counseling him, and him hit me up and asked me one or two questions, and I'm like, he's like, yo, I asked my mom the same question, and she gave me probably the most bizarre response, and I'm like, Mister, well, you asked a woman a question that did you expect her to answer with logic? Clearly not, sir. She's going to answer with feelings. She's going to tell you, don't do this. No, you should think about the other person. No, you. And I'm like, because when he asked me the question, I literally took 2 seconds and answered him. I'm like, there, that's exactly what I thought. I said, then why didn't you ask me first? He said, well, his mom was right there. Then I had to educate him and say, yo, that's the worst thing you can do as a man. And I know that sounds so wrong because even though Andrew Tate, I mean, we never mentioned him before, but he also says the same thing about come out of my mouth. There's nothing a woman can advise a man to do better than another man would. As long as the man he's asking is conscious of himself. There's nothing she can say that is going to be more useful than the conscious man would ever say to him. I mean, I have female friends who are quote unquote on the level. You understand me? Them stable. They understand male logic. But give and take. Even one of them recently cussed herself because she said, yo, she feel bad. Because me and her, when we went through her last boyfriend, our last baby daddy, his persona, I'm like, he sounds really narcissistic. And she's like, I knew it. Oh my God, I knew it. And then she's like, even though she identify him for what he is, part of her feels sorry for him. And I'm like, wow, are you serious right now? And she said, oh, that's the female side of me. I said, she hate that about her. And I'm like, well, my dear, God know why I make you a woman and not a man, because be honest with you, if you were a man, I think you'd be a whore. And she laughed. She laughed. She reasoned like a man. Like she reasoned like one of the boys. You understand me, boy? So even she acknowledged, say, the female side of her, the emotional side of her, she feels guilty for the narcissist. And I'm like, why? So she don't know. That's just how. And remember, women are chemically different every day. You understand me? Men, and again, I've said this to people, and again, I will be labeled as misogynist. I am glad I'm not born a woman. I mean, I'm, no shame to women out there. My mother was a elegant, well brought up, great wife, great mother. Had her flaws, but she did her job. But the range of emotions women go through on a day-to-day basis, crazy. Me and my wife be watching some simple shows, and she crying, and I'm like, why are you crying? Like, oh, I mean, I don't know. I'm just, I'm like, and I'm sitting there feeling like I'm like a monster. Come on, I don't feel, I really don't. And I'm like, okay, I'm sorry, I don't feel. Sorry,
You only
I
feel
don't.
you only feel genuine emotion when the death actually felt personal.
Yeah, but hold on. But then I've watched also shows and programs where the guy lose somebody close to him, and I'm in tears. You understand me? I'm not bawling, but I'm crying. And I've
One
watched
Piece.
Titanic. I've cried. All right,
Okay,
yeah, awesome.
was
But yeah,
I the only person who was laughing? I must be an evil person.
what? Now Titanic?
Yeah.
No, I did cry. I did cry because again.
In my version of the Titanic, when the merry-go was being burnt, I cried. When Port Gatsby Ace was
Oh my
murdered,
God, you are something else.
I shed
You're
tears. I
something
did
else.
though. I did. when Spartacus
Yo,
died, when Spartacus died,
Bruv,
they ended the
hold on.
bruv,
No?
last season.
There was a news story once, right? And this is how I know that this facade that real men don't cry is a lie. A father was I think there was an earthquake and there was a mudslide and the father was lifting his children up, trying to save their lives. He lifted them as high as he could, but eventually, God forgive gravity. They slowly went under and in fight, and even to the point where the mud all the way up under his neck. I mean, literally, his only face alone out. And when they came to dig him out, he started crying. He said, "Let me die. Let me die. My children are in my arms right now. Let me die with them." And I cried. I wept. Even talking about him, I started getting emotional. You understand? So, this facade, yo, the man said, "Let me die." Him reason for living died in my arms. That crap broke me.
That's heavy.
Yes, it
Well,
is.
bruv, nothing more could I live another day on earth if that reach my brother.
Bro,
I don't think I'd want to continue.
But that was going say, yo, God, you ready for your son yet? Yeah, man, me, I lift up you now. Same sweet.
for the rescuers, I'm saying, please, that's like, but the point me I try is, I hate the fact that society completely erase a man's emotions. Like a man is only there. That crap needs to stop. Like I said, balance, and I agree. Like I said, I agree with the feminist, but she said something in that interview that also made me furious. When she said she read Trevor Noah's book, she only gave the good parts about him directly only to his mother. And he identified like, wow, so it's almost as if you're saying all the good things were only from my mother and the rest of the other stuff was my father. And I'm like, wow, that is so wrong. And he played it off as a joke, but I know he thought I was upset. And I know he probably was upset too. Because I listened to him talk about his mother and father, and he put his mother life in danger. And his father would sneakily do things to show him son that he loved him. And him introduce him to him white side of family. And I'm like, wow, his father sounds like a decent human being. You understand me? He sounds like a father, but the fact that this black woman only respected his black mother and completely disregarded his father, rubbed me the wrong way. And I mean, I'm a black man, but I'm a man. It doesn't matter at the end of the day, I'm a man. And I raised with my father and my mother. I know my father's work. My father was not perfect. And I say this to anybody. My father has his flaws. But one thing I respect my father for not doing, for walking out on his family. He chose to be with his family. You hear me? I when my mother kick off and this him and she diss him and she diss him and all him a chat. All my father do was say things to enrage my mother. And he would just sit there and just laugh. And my mother get worse upset. But he would never bitch. Not like that. He said things to upset her, yes. But he
Never disrespected her. Hello? Ooh, oh boy. I thought he was back in civilization.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, he was making some
know
really
what
good
you and
points.
your mother and father, the kind of oh, this is not wrong with me. You don't know what kind of relationship your mother and father had. It's not your place to be judging them, not your responsibility, and you're wrong for that. A lot of and get me wrong. I know some of these people. aren't aware, but we're talking about the ones who have both mother and father, and draw assumptions
Yep.
based on what them say and not what they know. And that I hate that. You don't know what kind of relationship the man and the woman. Remember, a female woman. She may be your mother, but a female woman and a female man. This is not your relationship.
Roger? Run again?
And signal needs to stop moving so often.
I can't even tell. Like, you can just go for a couple seconds and come back. I mean, let's look at the podcast where they ask a question.
Hello?
Andrew Tate, yeah, you back?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm back.
Yeah, I was saying, let's look at the video where they asked a question between Andrew Tate and what was it, XQC?
Yeah, XQC. One game of you.
I don't know who it is.
I know. But continue.
If you're upstairs with your woman, and this is actually one of the arguments I use with feminists and some transgenders and some like really butch lesbians, like the people who I refer to as wannabe men. You're upstairs with a man, someone breaks in downstairs. Who goes downstairs?
Problem. Me?
And exactly.
Yeah, that's a no-brainer. That's a no-brainer.
One of the questions I asked to all the wannabe men out there, the feminists and the what do you call it? Like some butch lesbians who pretend to be men and stuff like that, until it's time to be a man. When they back down, or some even transgenders. I also use a war as an example, because I mean, when Ukraine went to the war, those trans men, those wannabe men, yeah, they turn to females real quick.
Hold on now.
Of course they did.
Hold on, man. So, essentially, SQC's whole thing, right? And I'm not going to be one of those people who talk about always a blue pill and all that bullshit. I think we've outgrown this nonsense now. But
yeah,
he's going to say that none of us are going to go downstairs. We're both just going to solidify ourselves up here because we're not going to do this gender role bullshit. It's essentially the crisp of what he's saying. All fine and dandy. Fair point. Cool. But let's put the scenario another way. Say it's more than one of these guys that break into the house and they have your woman at gunpoint upstairs while you gone downstairs for a drink of water. How you go play that out then? Listen, still equal gender roles then? The fact that the pinned comment on it essentially boiled down to this umbrella or woman or whatever them be at all them with a sacrifice and picnic them just make me not even watch through the entire video because I was just so pissed off. It's like, what is this nonsense of you mean the two of us stay upstairs? What sense does that make?
You die together, I guess.
No, absolutely not. This is not Pompey. Absolutely not. This is not Pompey, my guy. And even then, that made more sense. Like, come on. It's like these people just have this strange way of making their way through life. Like you don't want gender roles, yet you're choosing to solidify yourself to die together. So when you have so you want to orphan your kids instead of having one on our life. Okay. Makes sense, I guess.
I'll say this. When I watched the video, it rubbed me the wrong way because these are the same men that are complaining that the women now look upon them seriously, or they only see, oh Lord, only see women only see them as wallets. And but I'm like, just as much as a man would say a woman only bring her body come, and if you have a PR, a prostitution, I'm like, well, technically, isn't that the same argument?
A lot of men,
Isn't that the same
a lot of men,
argument? I mean,
a lot of men tend to forget that women, as much as they are emotional creatures, do base a lot of things off of. They do see men as action creatures most of the time, and they do
because
take your word. They do take your words to heart. So if they hear you speaking like a bitch, they're going to assume you're one.
I understand
Yep.
this. It's always been, and people don't understand that gender roles. It's inherently been that way from the dawn of time. Men are
Yep.
doers. Men have always been the ones who get up, say, I'm going on the road, I'm going to look something, the woman their yard, I try to take care of the kids. And it's now with the man who go out and get and then people are saying, well, times have changed. I say, really? I say, give people options. If a woman could get the kind of man who she want, where I go, I don't know if we go, Darlene, I want to go on for this.
No, none of them moving.
You sure? I
No,
want.
no lanes.
Oh Lord.
You know what?
Anywho.
That's what I'm like.
But
Why
yeah,
is there no movement?
like I was saying, if
Oh
women,
shoot!
if women,
Oh, that's a plane coming down.
okay.
Oh gosh! Wow. This must be a serious car accident because they got a plane coming down.
Mm-hmm.
Look like something's coming.
Oh Lord. Well, yeah. It's normally the man's job to go out and if women had a choice, they move and see a top um, careers. Let's say and say, if the man had enough money so she wouldn't have to work and live the kind of lifestyle that she wants, she would quit. So I'm like, So using analogy, women want to be in the workforce, sweating, being miserable, annoyed. Most women don't want that.
Dealing with
Few
asshole
want it.
bosses.
Mark you. Yeah. Few do want it. When I go on the corner, some can tolerate it. But everybody giving it? No, they don't. Giving it, people don't want it. Men have uh, resilient when it comes to headache of modern struggle and we quick up to take on the burden. And again, if a man don't like how him walk one hour, him will talk up. Yo, excuse me, I don't like that, you know. Yo, like that. But it's a come to me, can know someone like that. I've had co-workers who, Andre, listen nothing. Just make it one. I'm like, yeah, just make it one. No man, no. Tell me, it might say something and it make it worse. And I'm like, and I can also not say nothing and still get worse.
Yep.
So silence is consent. You know that, right? And
Yep.
if you're not saying nothing, then I believe so them can't get away with doing this again, right? Well, do you want to do? And then I do it and like, well, Andre, and this is how them respond. Well, Andre, you know, here. You say that I do it. I say, well, why wouldn't I do it? We're all being treated unfairly. It's only the human right thing to do. Why? And again, this is normal for certain people
But because of
to
the
be
unfairness
subservient.
on both
So
sides, it actually works out to be very fair.
exactly.
That the
Exactly.
world is perfectly
I must say,
imperfect.
of course. I've said this before. I don't really care if people go out and tell more because I've said it in really care. Like, me not favorite top of mine. I say, yo, the best bosses I've ever had were all men. Women are terrible bosses. And I've said this, and I know people, me know somebody go tell her about, but I don't care. Because if she's even saying, I can say it to her face. Me say, first off, women are very emotional. Men know when to compartmentalize them feelings. Not say someone can do it, but majority, if you're upset, wanna tend to don't know how fair. You know, you don't know how
There's
to
lash
just
out.
wall it. Them lash out. Take out them frustration from you. Most of my
Hold
bosses
on,
them bring
I
them
have
problem
all
from
right.
God.
So hold on, one of the same conversations I was having
Uh-huh.
with some wannabe men. I use the example of the Titanic. If we were on the Titanic and instead of the captain saying women and children first, the captain said we believe in gender equality. Whosoever wants to go on the lifeboats, get on them. I said it would be just men.
About everything.
And they said, well, if that were the case, I would do something to cause the lifeboat to sink and kill all you men. So I said, you're sure that's what
Mm.
you would do? She said, yes. I said, and I asked her 3 times, and the third time she said, yeah, man, she's positive. That's what her and her friends would do. So I said, thank you for proving my point. And this is why men are the leaders of society. Because we naturally make better leaders, we naturally make better decisions. Even the very rule that says women and children first was invented by men.
Damn.
And if it were you women, which it always is, going on those lifeboats
Mm-hmm.
to go to safety,
Yeah.
we're not going to do something stupid or emotional to try and sink the lifeboats. We're just going to let you go because we know that
Yeah.
this is the hand that we were dealt when the doctor said it's a boy.
Unfortunately, you try to explain this to people, say, yo, it's a struggle because in this day, men had male men were there to explain to young men that this is a hand that is being dealt. But that was when men were there. Now we have women trying to educate and teach little boys, young boys.
And this is also something I realized a couple of years ago, maybe more than 10 years ago. Dave Chappelle did a stand
Mm-hmm.
up. He was saying
Mm-hmm.
there's always some magazines saying how to do
Mm-hmm.
this, how to please your man, written by some woman. And it's always some random arbitrary nonsense. And I mean, and
Mm-hmm.
oftentimes these women are not even married.
Just like
Yet they
how,
know how to please a man but can't get or keep one.
yeah,
And it's always some long list of things.
of course.
And Dave Chappelle is like, yo, the list is like two
Mm-hmm.
things long. Like make him a sandwich and
Yeah.
walk in front of him naked.
Shut up. Or shut up.
Yeah,
Shut
yeah,
up.
I think that was on the list, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Stop nagging, walk around naked and make him a sandwich.
Mm-hmm. The late great Patrice O'Neill said something like, if you ask women how to keep a man outside of sex, most of them don't know how to.
Facts. But
You know?
man, Andrew
He's
Tate has
like,
also said if you can give a man peace of mind, you can have that man come back
mm-hmm.
home to you every single day. I can attest to this. But
Mm-hmm.
like for some
Me
reason,
too.
like women are in so much internal turmoil because they don't have any peace
Mm-hmm.
inside. It's like they can't bring any or show any on the outside.
That issues.
Yep. So I
It's
don't know.
not just that issues, some issues overall, more issues than a
Mm-hmm.
newspaper fan.
Yep. I'm gonna tell you this much.
Puns.
I said I witnessed.
Controversial topics.
I had
Lots
to.
of memes and puns. Right here.
I mean, I had to explain this to somebody one time. So how a woman used to measure if a man really loved her was he came home. Girl was like, "What?" I'm like, "Oh, I forgot. Yeah, I was raised in a time where you know, and the back here, a man could not sleep out. Come in and you can't even ask him where he made the last night. Yeah, sometimes man when the don't come back, the man just don't come back. So then the man come back for all days, weeks. Come back and still can't ask him where was he. Society has evolved. It's evolved.
That's right. Before
Mhm.
Bradshaw, you're breaking up.
Yeah.
Really,
Sorry. Um. There, there is a man on the highway. Big
mm,
We're talking like miles of cars now. Everybody waiting them to pull it out of the road. Up that is like what? The 12, and I still have a few hours of driving left to do.
I'm glad I'm not you.
Man.
Man,
Ah,
I know, like, I have the car, I have my
God.
car, and I get tired of driving sometimes.
Hmm.
I just go out and take the bus.
I don't blame you. Florida is a driving place. Man,
I can have a full tank of gas. I just don't feel like driving. I'm not going to.
mhm.
But you barely do. So there's that.
Hmm?
You barely do. So there's that.
I better do what?
Have a full tank, I guess.
Yeah, it's always at half.
Mm. To be honest with you, I would have at least been halfway there by now. Miles of traffic now. Miles of traffic.
But with regards to this Chimamba Adichie,
Yeah.
from my interpretation of what she was saying in the grand scale is that
Hmm.
in terms of feminism, she doesn't want women to just strive to be wives or I don't when she said that I don't from my interpretation I don't think she was saying destroy marriage the institution of marriage or not strive towards getting married or raising a family together or push towards single parenthood. I interpret it as her saying don't just have them view marriage as a goal or just view
I
or
agree.
as we complained about try to just don't just try to get a ring and just feel like that is your main or only or best accomplishment in life and then you're done like you've won the lottery. Like try to be a full complete person, not just someone's wife. And
I agree.
when you strive to be like a complete person, ultimately or inadvertently, when you decide to go into a relationship with a complete man who is also a complete person, because you're both sensible, decent, mature people, you'll have a proper relationship, proper marriage, and raise proper children. But because of how society is indoctrinating us, I can't even say we're half-assing it. We're just doing random, arbitrary shit.
Yep.
So we end up becoming shit people, having hooking up with other shit people, having shit relationships, growing shit kids, and just repeating a shit cycle.
over and
I said shit a
over
lot.
and over and over.
Apologies for that, but yeah.
Sir, for once I agree with you. Well, not once, but I agree with you. This is
With
crazy
regards to
because
this, yeah.
my daughter has to grow up into this chaos. She's supposed to somehow find a suitable partner in all this chaos. That in itself, my skin crawl because I'm not saying good men aren't out there.
I
But
mean, it's a myriad of things because I'm saying I want my sisters and my future kids to be suitable people and
agreed.
then find suitable people.
I mean, I mean, it's a noble goal. It's quite noble. But now that social media is kind of making this a joke. Social media keep telling people say if you go out there and go for money and sleep with whoever you want,
Yeah, date
hook up
around,
whoever you want.
find what
And Kevin
works and
Samuel
what doesn't.
and Kevin Samuel made a very straightforward comment one time. But me agree with him when him said, what does dating teach you that marriage wouldn't teach you already? Because dating nowadays involves sex and all of that, right? What does dating do for you that marriage wouldn't do
Dating
for you?
teaches you that you can run away when things get too tough.
Thank you. Marriage is anything but that. But because
You know, like I remember even a part of that I watched Michael Todd said the same thing. The reason why the concept of dating is in the Bible is because it's actually a messed up thing. Because what we're literally doing, we're practicing to end things and run away when things get hard.
the
And
worst thing
that is
America
why that is one of the reasons why the divorce rate is so high. Because we're still, even in marriage, most people are
yeah,
still in a dating mindset. So
yeah,
things
still
get
think that
so if you
still
have
think
an
that we're
extended
single.
honeymoon phase for 6 years to 10
Mm-hmm.
years, as soon as that
Uh-huh.
honeymoon phase is finished and it's not easy to work on or easy
Mm-hmm.
to fix anymore,
They leave.
we regress back to what we know, and now we want to break up because we can't snap our fingers and get out of the situation,
But,
and boom,
a news
divorce.
station, Capta is recording this to tell that people said is a could be.
Seriously.
I doubt it though. I hope. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. Okay.
What time is it?
Late.
11:47.
Damn.
We wrap up now.
Sir, it's not even been an hour yet.
What you mean? What you mean? No, because you're drop out every minute. Sir, it's 1 hour, 35 minutes, 37 seconds, and counting.
Okay, sir. That you know have to beat me. You know have to beat me. I was just looking at my phone.
Hold on now. Dario, you remember the last time
Yes.
we went? Hold on now. You remember the last time we did a 4 hour episode where this man say, oh, you can't go sleep? You remember?
When? I don't remember that.
Of course you would remember.
It was like 3 o'clock, and you had to get up at like 4, so it didn't make any sense.
I didn't sleep. Never mentioned so. Never mentioned. I'm never about to go sleep. But I stay up.
I
I
think
get
you
myself
had
ready.
played PlayStation until time to go work or something.
Yep.
But yeah, it's been over an hour. So,
Yeah.
ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you stuck with us this long, I want to say thank you. And also, please remember to leave us a like, whether you enjoy the comment or not, the conversation or not.
Mm-hmm. Or the
I'm holding
banter.
grudges. And the banter wasn't a
Yes.
lot today.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
David,
And do
David,
remember to subscribe to the channel. and hit the bell so you get notified whenever we do upload. Because as we do upload weekly, and we could continue this conversation in the comment section. We do try to get through every single one.
Yeah.
And with that, stay safe, drink water, stretch, stay awesome, and
Good stuff.
good night.
Good